Where would we be, my friend? Where would we be? That Lara Trump picture screwed you up. It scared you, didn't you? Well, scares me too. We'll get to that at the moment. Where would we be without Candace Owens right now? Where would we be? Where would our collective involvement be without her? I know this sounds rather sycophantic. It sounds a bit lickspittleish. It sounds like a bootlicker, and I understand that. But what we are seeing right now is something which is so important, so incredible, and so necessary for me to explain to you. And I'm going to start with no hesitation whatsoever. First, I am beyond elated to be back and home, showered, and I have been up. Well, I'm going to tell you, I think I'm going to do some private videos, just funny, stupid things and observations for members only, because I don't think anybody really wants to hear about my travails of traveling. But today, canceled flights, you can't believe it. But I'm here, and I had to start a little bit later because I just got in late, and I said, screw it. I gotta tell you, I was traveling today, and it's killing me because I want so much to tell you. I want to say, do you understand? We're winning this. This doesn't make any sense. She doesn't make any sense. This is stupid. I've always wanted to do this my whole life. This is stupid. This one doesn't make any sense. This is dumb. This is dumb. We haven't even gotten into the NDAA. We haven't gotten into anything about Israel basically signing on and controlling our military. We'll get to that later on. I want to keep things focused for our particular family here. Not everybody's into that. Not everybody's into the, Middle East and whatever. And I understand it. I get it. So I'm going to respect that, but I'm going to bring up a couple of things which I just have to show you that just don't make any sense. Let me get down to brass tacks. Let me show you a couple of things and some other things which make a lot of sense. Absolutely a lot of sense. First and foremost, there's a woman. I have nothing against her whatsoever. Her name is Lara Trump. And I don't think she knows. And I mean this, and I'm not kidding you. I'm not saying it just to be mean. I don't think she knows that she's not making any sense. I don't think she knows she has to explain things. I don't think she knows that just going on Fox News and having people do this, you're the president's daughter-in-law. You could say, and the moon is made of yogurt. And you, they're not, they love their jobs. They love their hair and makeup, but then you could say anything you want. And they'll just, yep. I heard something the other day, which was, again, this thing about anti-Semitism. This, I've got to tell you, it doesn't even make sense anymore. Let me give you one little background, and then I'll explain to you why this matters. When I was a kid and did not smoke anything, cigarettes a kid, didn't smoke marijuana, didn't drink, nothing. I was just a kid. People would say then that marijuana leads to hard drugs because people started with marijuana. Now, as a kid, I said, wait a minute. And I'm not kidding. My mother well, she's not here, but she would tell you. She would say, that makes sense. I said, we start with a lot of things. This is, and I didn't know what the word, but it's called correlation versus cause. There's a lot of things that you did. You're a divorce right now, yes, and you had the MMRA, or the measles, mumps, and rubella, but the MMR, excuse me, not MMRA, the MMR vaccine, and you also took driver's ed. And I'm going to point out all these things which may or may have nothing to do with what we're talking about. That's called correlation. Cause is a different story. What causes something? If you smoke marijuana early, are you going to go to heroin? No. Then what's the point? Why would somebody start with heroin first and say, oh, no, marijuana? No way. Too dangerous for me, my friend. But smack, I'll go right. No, doesn't make any sense. Okay. Lara Trump wants so bad to kind of break away, and she wants to be told, and she must be I think she's a nice person, and I think she's actually got more talent if she used her head. But she's under this idea that if I say something magically, it makes sense because I'm Lara Trump. and I'm constantly working out, and that's okay. But people who in middle age spend too much time talking about their bodies, like Bobby Kennedy, and like people like, oh God, like oh, what's his name, like Hexeth and others, you kind of wonder really where their focus is. So anyway, so here's Lara Trump. Now watch what she does. Let me play this for you, and let's find out. I had to show you this. This just, I'm going to try my best not to. I'm going to try myself not to interrupt this, but I know I will because this drives me crazy. Okay, here she is. All right, here she is. Now watch what she says. Pay attention, and hope if you're drinking or you're eating something, I hope you don't puke in the middle of it, because this is anyway. Watch.
Can the conspiracy theories on Charlie's assassination just stop already?
Stop. Can you stop saying conspiracy theories? I'm going to say this until I am. Until I'm not anymore, until I don't exist anymore. I'm going to say this until I don't exist anymore. You don't mean conspiracy theories, you mean crazy theories. You don't mean conspiracy theories, you mean crazy theories. You mean theories that you think are crazy. You think things that are crazy, ideas that are nuts, ideas that are stupid, ideas that are baseless, ideas that are nutty and weird and paranoid. That's a better one. But a conspiracy merely means that Tyler may have conspired with someone else, up to and including, if you think about it, perhaps the argument can be made that Lance Twiggs, he indeed conspired a little bit. They could form a confederation, especially when Charlie's, if you believe it, telling Lance, get rid of the rifle, get rid of this thing, burn the note, don't say anything, don't talk to the cops, okay? Because that's conspiracy. But she, like most people, say, no worries. I was in this place today, and I'm listening in this little restaurant in the airport. No worries. They just say things. I've got the receipts. No worries, no problem, no worries. My bad. Remember, we say that years ago. So anyway, so this conspiracy theory, also she's on this Salem. This is Salem Radio. This is Radio Free Israel, which is nothing wrong with that. Just say it. Brad Parscale, even Israel's upset with him because they screwed him out of money. Newsweek has a great article. She doesn't even realize this. This isn't even a legitimate, you know. By the way, did you hear this Chris Ruddy from Newsmax talk about conspiracy theories again and anti-Semitism? They don't even change the script. I could help them. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm interrupting. I apologize. I'm sorry. I swear to you, we'll watch this and then I'll just watch.
Can the conspiracy theories on Charlie's assassination just stop already? Can they please stop already? It has been so disgusting to see the things that people have come up with and then pushed out and perpetuated.
Like what?
On the internet. I mean, the internet is a great place. It is also a horrible place.
Why? What?
And these people who are doing it know better.
What?
They know what they're doing is wrong. What they're doing is hurting people.
What did they say?
The way that Erica Kirk has been attacked throughout the course of what I can only imagine has been the worst year of her entire life.
That trope?
I can't even fathom how she's still standing most days.
We know that.
Let alone, going out there, hosting Turning Point events, keeping, things moving, being a mom.
What's the conspiracy theory?
All of it. I honestly give her so much credit.
Well, different topic.
But can the conspiracy theories please stop?
Whenever
we see all the evidence, and I think we saw a lot of it in that pre-trial hearing, preliminary hearing.
What?
I don't think there's any room for any of this nonsense.
What nonsense?
Egyptian planes, about Israel, about Erica Kirk. Are you guys kidding me? And if you're a person out there who has been pushing this kind of thing,
what kind of thing?
You're disgusting.
Why
am
I disgusting?
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Of what?
It's enough.
What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? You see, she's on Salem. I could see a program there say, excuse me, yeah, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Make your case. He said, can you believe this? Can you believe this? Hi, I'm Larry Trump. Can you believe this bullshit? How long is it? But can you, do you know Erica? I mean, Erica Kirk, has she been, I feel for her. I mean, come on. And they say, oh, Tyler Robbins, come on, stop it. You've got to stop. Look, the internet's good, but it can be bad. It can be bad. It can be a waste of time. It can be bad. You can't, no, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. I mean, look, let's face it. It's wrong. What? I don't know. It's just wrong. And Israel? I mean, come on, Israel. Israel? You bring up Israel? I didn't say anything about it. What about Israel? Doesn't matter what about it. Quit asking me what about it. This is, you think Trump would say, Lara, come here. Can you close it? Yeah. What the fuck are you talking about? Who are you? Where do you get? Do you understand the issue here? That'd be like me calling a FIFA, like the World Cup. It would be like me saying, and you the Lionel Messi and he runs, and then he kicks the ball into the net, huh? And then he runs again, and the guy comes up with a card. He holds a card up. What's a card about? Oh no, this is look. There's good sports and bad. God, excuse me. You don't know what you're talking about. Now, if you think that's bad, here she's on Fox News, and they don't know what they're talking about. Oh my God. Have you seen this where these gals sit around and they say nothing? They're told, listen, we support Israel. How? I don't know. We just keep talking about anti-Semitism. Who's anti-Semitic? I don't know. If you look, we don't know. But this seems to work, and we have. I think they're going to pay us. Maybe, I don't know. I got to get my numbers up. So anyway, watch this one.
Scary part of all of this that the argument you're hearing right now
out
of DC is, we don't want to give financial aid in the same way to Israel.
And
but what's happened is this sentiment is spreading like a virus. And it's not just about financial aid.
Well, what is
Marcus, to your point, it's about anti-Semitism. And we've seen so much of this take hold and take root in our country in really frightening ways. I mean, you talk to Jewish New Yorkers, they're terrified to walk down the street with a star emblem on their necklace or to wear a yarmulke to show who they truly are. That's not America. What are we doing? Don't forget that it was 85 years ago. This sentiment spread around the world.
This has nothing to do with supplying
in
money
Nazi
to
Germany.
war.
It's not that far off to think that we're heading down a path that is frighteningly close to what happened there. So while you have these people saying, this is about financial aid, it is so much bigger than that. You're right. They don't know why they're championing Palestine. They think that's part of the bandwagon they're supposed to be on because all the people on TikTok and social media told them to go that way. This is something that we need to take seriously. Israel, being our closest Middle Eastern ally, has allowed for stability in the world. We can monitor terror groups. We can keep our adversaries at bay because we have this incredible intelligence sharing with them. We do not want to lose that. This is a dangerous spot.
You are so right that this is more than financial aid because, Kaylee, I watched Prime Minister Netanyahu on Sunday say, we're winding down USAID. There's a plan to get entirely away from USAID. Israel's a very self-sufficient country. It's not about aid. It is about anti-Semitism.
It is about anti-Semitism. You're right. And they're our number one ally in the world. Because if it wasn't, who was it said the other day that the United States would be nothing without Israel? Oh, and Ukraine. Fuck Ukraine. Wait a minute. Same thing, right? Same argument. What about them? Oh, yeah, that's right. This is the most. I have a friend of mine, a buddy I've had for a long time in Israel, and we just keep emailing, and I don't know if he's being, I don't know. I kept saying, thinking about you, my friend. Imagine you're just Joe Six-Pack Israeli, or Joe Falafel, or whatever it is. And you're saying, this is the way they support us. They don't tell us why. They keep bringing up the Holocaust. This Lara Trump, I'm sure she's a fine person. Let me tell you something. I'm flustered. Can you think of one person who represents kind of our enemy that really is scarily good? Name one person who is the who was the Charlie, or maybe the Tyler Robinson advocate, who's really good. Can you think of any? I can't. Who's the guy who's really smart, who says, damn, he makes a good point? I can't. Who? Jack Probiotic? I don't think so. This is quote I don't want to give money to anyone, Lara. I don't want to give money to the Armenians. And when you consider how they were also in a genocide with the Turks, I don't want to do that either. I don't want to give money to the Uyghurs or the Weavers or anybody else. She is such a hack. It's just, this is why the Republicans, I had to share that with you. I had to share that with you. And now, Lady Day.
Any takers on, you flew on a private plane, you landed, and you got into an SUV, and someone just Men in Blacked your memory?
She's talking about Blakey Neff here. And why is Tyler's lawyer, why are they not talking about this? Why are they not talking about this? Why? Can anybody tell me how we never hear anything about this? And we hear nothing about this from his lawyers. Nothing. And she is so beautifully spot on.
And you have no idea where the car went. You have no idea who was driving. And you have no idea who was there. Because why would you remember? You should remember because it's like not every day that you take a private plane to a place that you've never been.
Best
best
impeachment of a witness ever.
It's bizarre. And then you see at the end, someone says you were with Danny Phillip. Okay, so we
and I gotta tell you this, and I know this may sound disjointed because it is. Tyler Robinson's lawyers just think, who the hell is she? Who's Danny Phillips? They don't know any of these names. I'll bet you they don't know who they're talking about. And don't forget Barnes, the lawyer said, why would you want to put the word out for crazy people to come talk to you? Because they can help.
Danny Phillip flew with them.
Is this beautiful?
And then beyond that, I don't know if more people were in the car. Beyond that, the only thing he can remember is that they drove off and they went somewhere unknown to, and I quote, mark time. Where they went, they don't know. But they went to mark time. I mean,
compare her with Lara Trump, which you just saw in two separate instances. She had nothing prepared. I wish I could have. I was trying to find one where she's looking down on her notes because she really doesn't know the story. She's looking at, and this thing with Israel is just so wrong, and it's so stupid, and the internet is not necessarily bad. She knew nothing.
If you don't want to go to the event with Charlie, why wouldn't you just sit in the parking lot at the event that Charlie was going if you're just going to mark time? Ladies and gentlemen, something is very wrong with that.
Yes.
Okay. And a piece of what's wrong and what my mind immediately went to is Danny Phillip. Because who is Danny Phillip? That's an important.
Isn't this great? I just threw that in there. I threw it in just so you can compare and contrast what we're dealing with today. But as Vanessa Williams said, I'm going to save the best for last. Still, I want to give shout out to my new best friend, I love him to death, Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore does the best closing argument. And I'd say, now, Lara, I want you to watch this and find out where the anti-Semitism part of this is. All right, hon? Okay? Do me a favor. Find out where the anti-Semitism thing is because it's not there. Okay? There is no anti-Semitism there. You got it? You got it? There is none. But watch this. This is Tucker. By the way, Tucker, we're looking now coming up. I'm looking at either probably the first part of August. That's a busy son of a bitch. I talked to his people. He's going to be on, guaranteed. And then coming up, I think, then before there's going to be Uncle Buck. That's right, his brother, the inimitable, the ineffable, the one, the only, the sui generis, the nonpareil, Buckley Carlson. We'll talk about that. Anyway, So watch this. Just watch Jimmy Dore do the best closing argument ever in terms of the stupidity of the gun story.
Should watch this.
You have to swallow so much stuff to believe the story that the establishment is pushing for Charlie Kirk's assassination. So this guy finds the open stairwell. It's an open. Nobody's there. He brings the gun up, but it's too big, so he has to take it apart and put it in his backpack. Still too big for his backpack, so he has to put it down his pant legs, is what they tell. But then if he did, he couldn't go up the steps because he couldn't bend his knees. So I don't know how he got it up there. Nobody will tell me. So he gets up there, and then he changes his clothes. He's up on top of that roof for 10 minutes. That's according to the governor. He was up there for 8 to 10 minutes. Nobody sees him. The cops don't see him. The $1 million security team doesn't see him. Nobody sees him except people in the crowd did see him. And they don't tell you that. People, just like in Butler, Pennsylvania, people in the crowd saw him. Guess who didn't see him? The cops, the local cops, the state cops, the Secret Service. People see him. So, and then he puts the gun together.
I love this. He
lines up the shot, puts a scope on it. By the way, if that scope was on it, he couldn't fire that gun because of the safe. Anyway, so he lines it up, takes the shot, hits it perfectly, takes the gun apart, leaves the screwdriver there, puts it under a towel, Spider-Man's his way off the top of a building, runs across campus with the gun apparently under a towel. Nobody sees this. He runs into the woods, puts the gun back together again without the screwdriver. He's a regular MacGyver, this guy. And then he hides the gun in the backyard of a house owned by Palantir. And if you think anything else besides that, you're a crazy Jew-hating conspiracy nut.
Absolutely. Give it up. Jimmy Dore. Absolutely. This is our side. Spider-Man, MacGyver. This is our guy. Do you see how good we are? Jimmy is just spot on. That would have been one of the best closing arguments ever. And it's funny. And it's funny because why, kids? Why? Because it's true. It's so true. My God, is it true? It is so monumentally true. Oh, it's so true. It's true. So true. Now, I came upon this young man who is excellent. Have you heard of James Lee? L.I. Have you heard of him? I have apparently already subscribed to his great and fine work. He is tremendous. Another one. Mr. Lee's fantastic. I'm sure you know it. I'm just getting around myself. Just getting around. By the way, you know who I'm so proud of? Not that I knew it, but Cassia from Freddo's doing great. Everybody, Feckendy's doing great. Everybody's all, you know what? We're our family. Our family. Best stuff ever. Should be on the defense team. And now one of them has been reached out, I don't believe, by anybody from the defense team. Not anybody. Watch this. This is simply put superb.
Ask you a question. When was the first time you heard the name Tyler Robinson?
This is James Lee. Watch this. All right, get ready. I will not interrupt. So help me God. I will not. I promise you. In fact, let me just zoom out. I'll just be in the corner. I'll just be right over here if you need me.
Or the Losi Center, a Mauser 98. For me, and I assume many of you, it was in the days and weeks after Charlie Kirk's tragic assassination on September 10th. And you better believe I've been doing some Googling since then, right? Who is Tyler? What are the access points to the Losi Center rooftop? What kind of damage can a .30-06 caliber bullet do? But what if I told you somebody, maybe multiple somebodies, were searching those terms before September 10th? What do you think about that?
Before
Barrett!
the shooting.
Barrett!
Well, there's Washington, D.C. At 11 a.m., the day before the Charlie Kirk shooting.
How does he do this?
And you'll see here where the news finally broke that it was, in fact, Tyler James Robinson. But notice that. That's weird. That's weird.
That is weird, I gotta say. Somebody, why would anybody be searching the name Tyler James Robinson one day before he allegedly assassinated Charlie Kirk?
I'm sorry. I just don't want to let this thing run. That's all, it defeats the whole purpose. Is this not phenomenal? Is anybody on Tyler's defense team even curious about that? I mean, You mean to tell me my client, you were supposed to be a nobody. Nobody ever heard of you. Uh-huh.
The data point is just a tiny blip, but it's there. Tyler James Robinson, right? A name that nobody knew of prior to September 12th, 2 days after the shooting, when the media told us who Tyler James Robinson was, right? A supposed 22-year-old leftist who hated Charlie Kirk.
By the way, let me remind you, so I hate to say that, please forgive me. The same way that we found out about Hani Hanjour, who flew, I believe, one of the planes into the Pentagon. Remember him? We found out about him. Then they knew about Osama bin Laden right away. Right away. They talked about Muhammad Atta right away. They knew where the terrorists were sitting. They knew what they were saying. They knew that somebody said, "Let's roll," Todd Beamer. They knew this stuff. Why? How did you know this stuff? See?
So what does that little Google trend blip mean? Well, I did some research using Google Gemini, and they say Google Trends, what it does is normalize search interest to the region you select. The formula is search interest equals total searches in the region and time divided by total searches for the term. So when you look at things from a nationwide context, the total number of searches is enormous. The small handful of searches for Tyler James Robinson on September 9th is so tiny, a fraction of all the U.S. searches, that it gets rounded down to 0. But then when you zoom in a D.C. context, if you filter for the District of Columbia, the total search volume is much, much smaller. So if a few searches for Tyler James Robinson on September 9th originated in the D.C. area, then this handful of searches becomes a significant enough proportion of all D.C. searches on that day to register a value of 18 out of 100. Then it says, and this part is critical, quote, the fact that the searches are localized to D.C., a city synonymous with the federal government, intelligence, national media, and political organizations, strongly shifts the interpretation away from random noise or perpetrator checking his own name from an ambiguous anomaly into a strong potential signal of pre-event institutional knowledge or activity.
Really?
That is interesting.
Yes.
To be clear, I'm not coming to any conclusions.
Oh, yes, you are. Stop it. Stop it. We're coming to conclusions. That's the whole reason why we're here. I want to conclude. You want to conclude? I do too. Don't have to say that. Don't say that. We want to come to a conclusion, please. We're not throwing this stuff out there just like, oh, it's kind of interesting. We're not drawing any conclusions. Yes, we are. We know exactly what we're saying. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of the truth.
Myself just yet, but that is how Google is interpreting its own trends data. But hold up for a second. Strap in, buckle up, whatever you need to do, because there is actually so much more weirdness.
You know what? Isn't it great? Aren't we the best? Aren't we? Isn't there something just so... Oh, God. You know what I really wanted to talk about today, but I don't know if you're interested in it, but it's my love, it's my passion of what red pilled me, was seeing Roger Waters and Tucker talk about 9/11. Oh, be still my heart. That's where it all started from 25 years ago. Some of these people were just kids, just in grade school, whatever. We've been this. That's why I'm saying we've seen this. Promise me this. No matter what happens, you tell your kids, you bring them into what you're doing and say, do you see what we're doing? This is called citizen grand jury. We don't need to ask permission for this. We don't need to ask anybody what we're doing. We're doing what we find fascinating. The truth is fascinating. This young man, this guy, Charlie Kirk, was slaughtered. And all Lara Trump and others worry about is trying to stick up for their girlfriend. You know, their cute little girlfriend, Miss Cheerleader, isn't she sweet? It's bullshit. Let me tell you something. Don't think for a moment. And I'm going to say something, and I know this is just horrible. But when you get a bunch of gals and you sit them on a couch and you have the show in the morning and they're all sitting, and they just spew who could be more conservative than the next, who's going to get that gold-plated CPAC. That's another group. Anytime you have a group of anybody, the group seems to suck the life out of the cause. The group seems to take on almost the heft or momentum all its own. We don't have a group. There's no group for us. You hear what I'm saying? There's no group. Ours is a different story. Our group is a group of the truth. And let me ask you something. How many things do you think, let me see if I can phrase this. How many things have been pointed out by everybody? By, of course, Candace and Barron, and who was just, he deserves a Medal of Honor for his work. But Candace and Barron and others and everybody, and Ian, and just go down the list. And Nissy and just go down the list. If every time there was a, that's weird. How many of those, do you think we'd have? How many? Answer my question. 1 million? 1 billion? How many? How many individual things? And I didn't throw in Erica or Lori Franz or any of those other people or Neffy or this one or this and Colvett and all the usual suspects. There's like 1 million facts. Now, how many glaring anomalies or how many has there been regarding Tyler? It's just the narrative. You know, the narrative. He wanted to get very upset. He decided to go and drive all this time because never told his girlfriend, never told his lesbian whatever, never told her at all. Isn't that weird? I'm doing something for you. I am so pissed off. I'm not even related. I'm not into this whole thing. I'm not walking around with a fuzzy hat, acting like some chick. You are. And he never even says, by the way, don't you hate this? Everybody leaves. They have all these manifestos. They leave them in social media. People know, like, oh, he always talked about that. Not Tyler. He was always eating. Want to go to Chick-fil-A today? Want to go to Chick-fil-A? Want to go to that steakhouse? Have some grilled vegetables. This is the killer? Nobody knew? He never said anything? This, I don't even know what to tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, you're not supposed to have these many glaring issues. None. There was no glaring issues about, I was on the plane. I got nothing to do. I'm listening to old, people who found Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy, clear as day. That's the man. I mean, we don't have this. Whenever there's 1 million suspects, whenever there's something, JFK, RFK, Martin Luther King, then we find out, wait a minute, you can almost guarantee that anybody who even pretends to be or to bring about an issue regarding the case, it's true. Isn't this great? Dairy Queen, thank you very much, Dairy Queen. Isn't this unbelievable? And then you've got to stop talking about the conspiracy theories. Would you please? I mean, just the incredible. This blows my mind. Section 219 of the House version of the of 2027 National Defense Authorization Act, titled the United States-Israel Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative. A related Senate provision is Section 2017. In broad terms, the proposal would, number one, establish a formal DoD executive agent to coordinate U.S.-Israel defense technology cooperation. Number two, expand joint research, development, testing, and evaluation of defense technologies. Number three, we're not sharing theirs. Number three, acknowledge collaboration among government, industry, and universities. Promoting and co-production and manufacturing partnerships. Focus on areas including artificial intelligence, autonomous systems, missile defense, counter-drone technology, cyber capabilities, directed energy, quantum technologies, and electronic warfare and biotechnology. Let me stop you. Did you hear what I just said? Do you want to do that? Do you want to say, hey, come here. You want to know how we got some deadly pathogens here? We're learning a lot about quantum computing. You want to share it? You can be a part of here. You share it. You use it as you see fit. Do you hear what's going on here? I know it is not necessarily related to Charlie per se, but Charlie would go nuts. This is the problem. This is the problem. This is crazy. Tell me this doesn't, tell me how you say, if we did this for Zelensky, you'd say, what are you talking about? This, I can't even believe this. And what about the lettuce? People with a projectile diarrhea. You know what I'm going to say about that? Do you think it's funny? You go into a Taco Bell, next thing you know, you're acting like Vesuvius. You get, holy God, hit the deck. Katie barred the door. Incoming. Fire in the hole. Get back. Get back. Timmy had a burrito. Oh, man. Incoming. Don't you love that? Anytime you hear the word projectile, hand fart Friday, anytime you hear projectile diarrhea, doesn't that just kill you? Projectile, uncontrollable. You go in there, oh my gosh. You must, oh my gosh. I swear to God, I think to myself, what are we talking about? We're living in an insane world, and we're not going to give up. Bring Lara Trump and sit her down with Candace after she gets a hold of Erica and destroys her with the facts. And in this other instance, Lara Trump believes in this trope, this meme, this tropism, that somehow our girl Candace has been advocating or suggesting physical harm to Erica. And you know that's bullshit. Have you ever heard her ever say anything about that? No, please tell me. Am I missing the point here? Am I missing the point? This is the most incredible thing. I've never seen, listen. I would, if I were Tyler's lawyer, I'd say, Candace, can I come on your show? Yes. Hello. My name is Dick Gazinia, and I'm the defense lawyer, the lead counsel for Tyler Robinson. Now, Ms. Owens, yeah, I don't necessarily know who you are. I think you're having a fine. Kai has it. She has what? Projectile? You got the squirts? The Hershey squirts? Oh, no. Oh, Montezuma's? Oh, not good. I hope that's not what you're talking about. Dear God, don't go outside. No scuba suits either. No space suits, and no cross-country driving in a GT, in a mini GT. In any event. But don't you think somebody would go on the Candace Owens show and say, listen, I don't know who you are, but if you know anything, Candace is very nice to have tips and more tips. You got more because the tips filled up. Is there something? And of course, there's going to be some freaks. I've got a man whose life is on trial, and you're looking at panels of video. I simply don't have the manpower. I'm court appointed. And no matter how much you think, I can't put money into investigators. So if any of you individual folks out there, please. Ava Cassidy's Over the Rainbow. Eva, wasn't she great? So young. She was like one of these people that you listen to. I just saw that up there. She was great. Oh my God. Incredible. So anyway, the shitty bacterium. See, you don't push the joke. You see, Smoochie, don't clobber people with the obvious nature of it. You know what I mean? Don't clobber people with it. You don't have to push it. You don't have to push it. They understand what diarrhea means. You don't have to. You don't have to say that. Okay. Kai says, "I have it." You love me. There is something so incredibly wonderful. See, nobody ever really wants to talk about something like that. Is just so funny. A friend of mine said, I got the norovirus. Remember that one? Did you hear about this? Did you ever hear this? I went on a cruise, one of the last cruises I ever went to. I never want to go on a cruise again. It was part of a radio deal, and I hated it. I hated every second of the cruise, every corner of the room, I hated it. Anyway, when we got there, we showed up, and they're writing, your hi, welcome, and everything. And they said, do you or anybody in your party have diarrhea? And I said, is this a joke? What? First of all, it's none of your business, number one. Number two, why are you asking me? As well, there has been an outbreak of norovirus. And the norovirus causes projectile Vesuvius-like, Nagasaki quality, Hiroshima quality, the futzes, it's gone. It's not good. Not good at all. I mean, terror rag. We are talking like it. So I asked this fellow, I said, how would I know if anybody in my party has diarrhea? And he said, well, you might be, let's say, in a public restroom, and you're in the next stall or something, and you hear the sound like somebody taking a fire hose 6 inches off of the water. You go, oh, I see. That might be a hint. Well, what do you do? He says, well, we can quarantine them. So I thought, this is funny. If you don't like somebody in your party, you can say, listen, come here. I don't want to say anything, but see that guy? Don't look. See that guy over there? Yeah. I was in the men's room, and he was in the next stall, and he sounded a little loose. Next thing you know, they knock on your door. They have machine guns, and you're quarantined. They put tape on your door. You can't leave. Think about it. It's pretty stuff. It's pretty rough stuff. It is a very, very, there's something so very serious about the body. We got to get rid of this. Years ago, when I was 13 years old, I had this really serious, very, very serious bladder surgery. And it was a different world then. And they said, we're going to put you under. We're going to put you under. I said, well, I hope so. He goes, no, we're really going to put you under because this is going to be eternal. We're going to your bladder, and we're going to cut your bladder up. And I said, okay, well, no, you don't understand. We're going to put you under. So we got to make sure that when we put you under and you're on that table, well, we don't want to have anything go wrong. What do you mean? Well, we're gonna give you a fleet. They call it the fleet. What was it? An enema? Yeah. Oh, that's not bad. And it says to clear. I said, well, okay. I thought it meant T-O clear. I thought, well, that's what it does, right? Does it make sense to you? They meant till, like until you are clear of everything, until there's no remnants. This could take weeks. Exactly. So I'm in this room. I don't want to get too much into detail. I was a kid. First of all, when you're a kid, you're just kind of like, you don't want people to look at you. You want me to wash? Give me that rag, nurse. What are you, crazy? Fishman says, you are too damn funny. That is true. So anyway, there were two beds. One bed, this bed, and then the bathroom. I'm a bed against the furthest against the wall. So this Brunhilde comes in there. She says, we're going to do it till, and I thought it was too clear. No. But after word that, she goes, okay, here you go. Where do you go? That away. The bathroom is like, I got a bed, two beds. I'm doing like hurdles, like who did the famous hurdles? Jesse Owens. I mean, I'm doing, it's like, wow. I said, can we move over here a little bit? You mind? Well, I got this stuff set up here. Well, then move it over here. Why am I running? And you don't want to run in that. One wrong movement, it's over with. And you leave your dignity and your pride at the door. Well, after this, I said, well, I'm glad we're done with that. Woo, man. Oh, boy. That'll set you free. Well, thank you, nurse. She said, what do you mean? I said, well, that was to clear. He goes, no, until that's not clear. I said, well, theoretically, it's never clear. You know, I don't want to get into it, you know. Oh, my God. This thing was like, I was like, make it stop. Run. You know, I'm doing these hurdles. I'm like, this is bizarre. This is bizarre. Whoops. So, well, what happened was, oops, hang on a minute. There we go. So what happened was I had the surgery. Did I tell you about this story? It's a great story. Oh, you want to hear a funny one? This is even worse. Oh, this is even worse. Oh, man. Eva Cassidy, coprology, comedy, absolutely. One time we did the colonoscopy a while back. They're nothing. They're no big deal, whatever it is. And normally you go in there and say, nothing. And then what happens if they see something, they'll snip it. They'll just snip it just to stop it. You know, it's beautiful. Just, you don't need this. Take it off. Get rid of it. People talk about the most incredible advances of humankind. Is it the quantum computer? No, it's the camera. It's like a camera out of your ass. Come on. Up your ass. That's the most beautiful thing in the world. Anyway, so apparently when I went, there was I always take like a 81 milligram, baby aspirin, just for, as a prophylactic. It's always good. By the way, late at night, it's always good. Middle of the night, in case you get a stroke or some incident, it's better to have that thin blood. You know what I mean? To prevent clots. Always check with your doctor. Well, after this was done and they took a little bit of a snip, I guess I took the aspirin too soon or whatever it was. And all of a sudden, I thought, whoa, hey, this ain't right. What's happening here? I'm not even going to go into detail. But it looked like something from something like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I went in, my wife looked at me and goes, what's the matter with you? I was apparently wan complected. I mean, pale, real pale, like bad pale. Like, oh my God, there's something worse. You go, what? Oh, what's the matter with you? Well, no, I went a little bit, maybe took an aspirin. So she said, we're going to get you to the doctor. I said, okay. So I went to the doctor. When I saw this guy, great guy, he says, oh my God, this is the doctor. And he said, I'm going to put you in the hospital. I said, no, there's no need. Listen, I made a mistake. Hey, I took the aspirin. It's no big deal. I'm okay. I look like shit, but I'm okay. I look like Abe Vigoda, but it happens. Don't worry about it. Okay, but listen. You promised me if there's anything, let me know. Okay. So we're coming back from the doctor. I'm in this. I said, just get me home. And the driver's going to look at me like, oh my God, I must have looked like death. I mean, pallor, gray, wan complected. So as we're driving, we hit around the Lincoln Center area. And all of a sudden, the cab driver says, you got to get out. I said, I got to what? You got to get out. Why? Traffic's jammed. It was Walter Cronkite's, not his funeral, but it was his memorial. Bill Clinton was there. Everybody was at Lincoln Center. And we had to go that way. So I'm walking like this, looking, people, oh, the doorman, what's the matter with you? I took an aspirin, I don't know. But let me tell you something. Those things are the greatest. And I don't know why people do not ever not have those things. But those things, colonoscopies, they can save your life. And it's so ridiculous how people get so bent out of shape about this. Ew, I heard it's terrible. It's nothing. It's nothing. You want to talk about a catheter or a cystogram or an IVP or avoiding cystogram or a retrograde urethrogram? You want to talk about fun? That's fun. Again, I'm not going to say anything about compared to giving birth to a child. I'm not going to do that. Because let me tell you something. You ladies are born, you have a sense of pain and commitment to pain that nobody else has. If men had periods, businesses will be closed all over the world at any given time. What's the matter? Where's Wall Street? They're on their period. Oh, just imagine that. You're supposed to be, the first time I look at it, what the hell is this? It's your period. Well, maybe for you it is. This ain't a period. This is a whole damn paragraph. I'm staying home. Call the doctor. Call an ambulance. Oh, no. Come on, you're going to go to work. Go to work? How about those ads on TV where women on their period, they're doing like horseback riding and swimming? Is it, what? What? I wouldn't move. How you ladies do it is the most incredible thing in the world. I'm serious. We don't. Nobody wants to talk about it. We don't want to talk about this because we don't want to talk about the body. We always want to talk about abs and six pack. And hey, I like to say, how about gut health? What do you mean? Nothing. That's as far as I'll go. I love the interstitial, the dirt, the grime, the funk, I love that. I love that stuff. I love dead bodies and forensic pathology and putrescence and putrefaction and decomposition and wounds and just fascinated by it. That other stuff's boring. Oh, look, a migraine. Cared about a migraine. Show me something good. Show me a good decubitus ulcer where you can look right into it. How about taking maggots to debride wounds? This is one guy I got to ask. This poor guy comes in, he starts putting colors. I don't know what this is about, but I don't have time for this shit. Why do people come in, seriously, to our beloved show? We don't have huge numbers, but we have fun. We have a good time. And then somebody comes in and writes red, orange, green, purple. What is this? What do I draw these people? Seriously, do I draw these? Lionel, love how your mind works. You better believe it. Is this going anywhere? Ugh. Oh, Tamara. Oh. Tamara says it's not going anywhere. Oh, I'm sorry, Tamara. It's not going anywhere. But you are. Okay. There we go. Don't you love that? Don't you love coming over to somebody's channel? Seriously, and say, what is this? Excuse me, what are you talking about? Say people who they're like hecklers at a comedy club. Is this going anywhere? Is this funny? What is it? Seriously, what is it that makes people so fucking rude? Why? Why do people do this? I've never been to anybody say, Candace, are you talking about Charlie again? Yes. Hey, Max Blumenthal, are you talking about Israel again? Is this going anywhere? Come on, man, something new. Hi, I'm just this stuck in the mud. I'm just this Fabissima Funja face, this termagant, this shrill shrew cur, this termagant, this harpy. And I just want to call him, and I just want to you guys are having fun. Good. You know what? I'm going to put an end to that. Is this what you're talking about? These people make me sick. You got that? Anyway, that's it. All I know is I had a flight canceled, 10:30, canceled. It's like, what do I do? Went back. And then when I went back to the place I went back to, friend, that place, there's a power shortage. So all my devices are good. I went back to the airport. It looked like a scene from Cambodia or Vietnam in 1975 where they were running down. I'm not trying to make a joke out of it, but you know where people are just coming out of the woodwork saying, what is going on here? Trying to convert it. By the way, who has the TSA clearance? Do you have this? Have the TSA clearance. Do you have the TSA clearance? Do you have this? The TSA clearance? This is the most important thing in the world. That is the best damn thing in the world. Clear, but maybe that helps. But TSA clearance is the best. Get that little thing. I had two. You should have seen these two people on this plane. One guy walked in. This guy looked like Burl Ives with a jacket. I'm thinking, this ain't the pilot, is it? This isn't the pilot. I think he was like a steward. He looked like 80 years old. I swear to you, I thought, is this good or bad? Is an 80-year-old guy, this is the first class, handing out, pretzels, or this is weird. This was weird. I thought, okay. And I'm asking myself, that's good. So anyway, so this very, 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 I like aisle seats. I like towards the back, not towards the front, just towards the John. How about people who get up and run and they want to, they can't wait to get up and say, what are you doing? They haven't even opened the door yet. Get back there. No, I'm like, no, excuse me. Don't get back, and don't tell me your overhead is up there. It's the most stupid thing in the world. These people are weird. Have you been in a plane where when you land, they clap? What's that about? Is there something I should know about? You're clapping? Anyway, so I was sitting there, not paying attention, and all of a sudden, this woman said, you like, whatever. I looked up. If this woman was not 6'4", maybe not 6'4", but it looked like big hand. I thought, is this a trans? Very nice. Very nice. Would you like some sparkling water? No. I got Burl Ives in the front. I'm serious. This was like, wow. And normally they say, well, this, flight attendants have to be smaller in order to get up and down the aisles in case of an emergency. This one, we're going to have to help her. She could be the raft. Somebody said this the other day, which is the most important. And I can't take credit for it, but it was one of those things you've heard your whole life and nobody never thought about it. Why do they tell you that your seat can be used as a flotation device? Who the hell's going over water? We're not going anywhere. We're cross country. We're not going over water. International flights, maybe. I guess you're in the Adriatic and you're hanging onto your seat, but we're not. Why are you telling me about? I don't understand that. But are you willing to sit in the front of the? Yes. Are you willing to sit in the emergency room? Yes. Will you be willing to help people? Yes, I will. I'll save lives. Just let me sit here, okay? Okay. And that's the rigor. Are you be willing? And these people are sitting there. It's like this. People are like this. Are you willing to help out in the event of an emergency? Yes. Okay. It's like, are you sure about this? Is that it? I mean, I don't want the guy to go through a SEAL Team 6, battery protocol, but this guy can't even pick up a tray. What does this even mean? What does this mean? Have you noticed how also the toilets are getting like, you close this room and you hear and you're in there. It's like, this is not good. And if you had any indication of doing anything in addition to just plain old not underism, wrong, micturition. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine you're in there? I don't know, but I don't want to go into detail. But you know what? I'd rather die than go in there. And what about this Mile High Club? Who in the hell ever walks into this room? It's like, it doesn't smell good. It's like push, press. There's no, you can barely, and you're going to sit there and undress and give somebody the high hard one. What are you talking about? What kind of sick mentality says this really turns me on? That room that smells like Newark after a rain. Let's go back there and play hide the salami. What do you say? Come on, you and me. I'll go in first, and I'll call you in. We'll be members of the Mile High Club. It's demented. Who the hell? Is that a fantasy? What's wrong with a sort of perfect sleeper and a halogen lamp? Come on, look at this. Whoa! But stop it. Stop it. You know what I'm saying is right. Stories of Andre the Giant going to the bathroom. Yes. On the plane. Look it up. Oh, yes. They had to pull the curtain. Yes. How about at the hotel? Okay. How about at the hotel? I'm just going to say one word to you. Bathtub. That's all I'm going to say. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. You got it? I got it? Now, let me tell you something. Okay? Baron Coleman is a hell of a man. But he's never almost died because of Walter Cronkite's funeral. That's all I'm going to tell you. He never turned white, having a nipped polyp during a bad colonoscopy. Oh, I got to tell you one more story. Listen to this. Have you ever done a, this is interesting. Did you ever done a stress test? Years ago, I did a card. He goes, let's do a stress test, thallium stress test. Make sure everything's okay. Okay, great. So and thallium, by the way, is radioactive. Now, at that day, I was doing a radio show and I was talking about this colonoscopy. So Mrs. Ellen and I were at the U.S. Open. We're at this event. It's so boring. It's so boring. Anyway, we went there and they had a nice little room. They have like a press room, like a box. It's so tiny. And you can barely, it's not like watching a football game. You're watching the tennis over there. Oh. Anyway, so as we're walking in, this guy, police officer says, excuse me. And he's walking towards us, kind of hastily walking towards us. And I look at him, yes. He says, excuse me, did you have a procedure recently? And I said, wow, the word gets around. I guess you've heard about it, huh? You know, the whole polyp and the snip and the blood. He goes, what? No, have you had a procedure? I said, well, that's what I mean. He goes, no, like anything involving radioactive. Anyway, make a long story short, he had a radioactivity sensor because it was an event, I guess, terrorism. He was like a mile away, and this thing was going off. He goes, man, you are glowing. I said, really? He goes, yes. And he showed me, and I was like, so not only that, I got snipped polyps, bleeding to death. I'm white with an anemic pallor, and I'm radioactive. How about that? Take that, Coleman. Take that one, my friend. Oh yeah, my friend. So anyway, I am so glad. Oh, look at this. Don't be screwed. Don't be scared. Colonoscopies are a breeze. They really are a breeze. You know what's great is when you say, okay, I'm going to take it. And you go to like CVS. Hello, yes. Prescription for periwinkle. Remember they would give you a box? Where's your troll? Tell me where the trolls are. Call them out. Call them out. Urgh. Who are they? Don't just write trolls. Tell me who they are. I'll get those bastards. Anyway. So, you know, these nurse trolls. Anyway. So there's just this. I've said too much. There's just so much to talk about. So many great things. That's all. All right, my friends. That's it. Everything else all right? Everything else all right? Everybody else great? Everybody else groovy? Oh, one more last story, which I think is one last story. This will kill you. You know, after surgeries, and ladies, have you ever had a cesarean or anything like that? You know, what's the most important thing after you have a cesarean, in addition to mending, of course, is did you pass gas? Did you go to the job? Because let's face it, they take, you want to, intestines and things. You want to make sure everything's back. Everything's groovy. All right. You got it? It's no big deal if there's a kink in your intestine. So this one guy was in this room after a surgery, almost and the door was up and the woman says, did you pass gas? He says, I most certainly did not. He goes, no, I'm not accusing you. I just want to make sure you did. He said, oh, well, as a matter of fact, it was good. That's a good thing. Well, anyway, years ago, St. Joseph's Hospital, the original one in the X-ray division, the bathroom was like in the middle of the waiting room. It was like and whoever built it was like Phil Spector, the Wall of Sound. I mean, this was like, I mean, Al heard it was loud, terrazzo and ceramics. So they would do the old-fashioned colonoscopies where this poor guy would come in and they would do air contrast. So you'd be there and they would pump up your now they just have a camera, but in the old days they needed to really pump up your colon to see if there were any kind of interstitial polyps or weird vascularity. So they would pump up a 16 PSI of air just to spread things out. And I say, okay, you're done. Now you're walking around like, oh my God. So they say, well, where do I go? Out there. So this poor guy comes out, he's got like the gown with his ass hanging out. You know how that is, And nobody they're looking down. Don't look. And you're reading. We didn't have No TVs, no internet. We had like Gem Cutters Quarterly and scuba, whatever the doctors were involved in. Yachting. Oh, this is great. So this guy goes in, and we hear this noise. You know the sound of the lid hitting that drop. That panic. Drop it. This guy hit a note. Remember, he's been in there. He's all this pound per square inch PSI. He's just ready to explode. So he's in there with the. He's Al Hurt. He's Clark Terry, and we're like this. Holy Jesus! Don't look. I'm not hearing it. Boom! It sounds like a machine gun, like a Spielberg extravaganza inside this room with these echoes, So it was, and this poor guy came out, and we didn't know whether we wanted to clap, like, yeah! Oh, that last one, like, who needs a fireworks? This guy tearing a rag like you can't believe. So anyway, years ago when I had I think it was a voiding cystogram, I had one of these ones where I had the catheter, and they had to void after I got done being filled with every square inch of this fluid. I went in myself. I was one walking out, my ass hanging out into this room, Phil Spector Wallace on, and it sounded like you could chip sand with this. Oh man, today what we wouldn't give to have that. You can engrave medallions with this. To my darling. I came out and was like, yeah. Remember, when you have a great, just the sound of when everything works great, there is a God. Remember that. I got my brush, and I've got my Tyler Robinson lint brush. All right, my friends, have a great and glorious day. I'm so glad to be here. Tonight, if you're around between 2 and 5 a.m. Eastern time, get a little of this. I'm going to be on WABC, knocking their dick in the dirt. They don't know what the hell to do with me. Today we're talking more about stuff that I think is interesting about, I don't know, healing and miracles and all kinds of weird stuff. I love that kind of late night Art Belly kind of stuff. In any event, we love you. I love you. I love you. I honestly love you. All right, my friends, we'll talk tomorrow. I'm so glad to be back. So you have I hate flying. I hate flying. I just hate it. I think I made that very clear. Oh, and cruises. Hate them. And a Laplander ripping your perineum apart with a claw. Hate it. You know that perineum. You know this. You know that old joke, right? You know what the other word for the perineum is? You know what the other word for it is? You know what it is? Is it attained? No. Chin rest. Look who it is. Here's Kai. Kai's got it. Kai's got some promise. You deserve this. Thank you for a great night. Kai's got that. Remember, don't do any unnecessary deliveries at Kai's house. Thank you, Kai. And hope you feel better. You know what I mean, hon? You know what I mean? Let her rip, baby. Hit the bridge. When you hit the bridge, wave. Shake hands for Shorty. Wear a long coat. Nobody will notice. All right, my friends. We love you. Have a great and glorious night. Until tomorrow, my friends, remember this. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.